thank you very much for coming. We are going to divide the press conference with questions from here, and then with the Zoom that there are our journalists, Argentine journalists. So we can start. Jamie?
Well, Michael, ¿por qué los dos cambios en el 15 inicial y qué partido imaginas para el sábado?
Sí, primero, dos cambios, Matías Moroni en el centro. Pienso que Orlando, ahora está haciendo muy linda prestación en general, sobre todo sin su defensa. Moroni, que es un segundo centro en 13 principales, juega un poquito de todas sus posiciones. Pienso que está haciendo buena prestación, merita una oportunidad en el 13 antes que esta ventana termine. Imov, sí, un poquito cambio de estrategia que tenemos por este segundo partido. Siempre cuando juegue contra un equipo 2 semanas consecutivas, tiene idea cambiar un poquito la organización del equipo, el setup del equipo. Es bueno para tener un adversario, para tener una planificación o una estrategia de juego un poquito diferente. Entonces, pues pienso que Imov en la última prestación contra el último partido contra Australia hace una buena partido, merita una oportunidad también.
Michael, what is the motivation for you and your team this coming weekend, especially what you guys did last weekend in that second half? What is your drive for this weekend against the World Champions this week?
No, we're always motivated every week. So I don't think one week's motivation leads to the other. It's not that type of roller coaster. We're motivated for many things in relation to where we want to end up as a team. Of all the games we played so far, we're probably most disappointed with that one because of the context. I don't think I've seen a crowd going like that ever, nearly. And I want them to go like that at home this weekend when they're watching on telly, So we've got a lot of drive as a team. We've been, I think, probably had our best training session of the whole time we've been together yesterday, which is, it's nearly 2 or 3 months of being together or whatever it is since the start of July. And I think, no, I don't want to go bigger picture here. I just want to say here's an opportunity, full house in Durban against the world champions, chance to take. Got to go there and try and take.
The whole team are constantly talking about 5 points as if they don't have any problems this coming weekend at the Springboks Stadium. Are you guys here to hand over 5 points to this week?
Are we here to hand over 5 points? You guys are the best. You write your own headlines before you even turn up, honestly. Mate, I've been around too long to fall for that one. Nah, mate, we'll just turn up and see how we go. We'll turn up and see how we go.
Michael, just talk us through the selection of Juan we all know we had these successful theatrics 7 years ago, and again he's marking an experience doing in Kenya moving the same way he marked and outplayed at Jesse Creel 7 years ago.
Wow. 7 years is a long time, mate. So he looks like a fine player, kind of moody. He looks like he's got a bit about him. I haven't seen too much of him except for some of the games he's played, and Moff's he's a genuine finisher. So I think we created ourselves a few opportunities last week. So I'd like to see if we can make a few opportunities that he can get on the end of, and he's got good pace, he's got good experience. I was actually surprised to see how many players of our guys had played in that game in Durban. I wasn't yeah, I didn't really realise how many of them had that experience. So, yeah, I think, I don't think there's any parallels at all to 7 years and all that business. But the one thing about him off is 7 years, he's still playing good football. He's playing well with his club when he's there, and he's playing well here with us now. So he's still adding a lot, as well as a more experienced player now inside of the team. So I'm looking forward to seeing him play.
Sí, Corcho, recién Michael dijo que el entrenamiento de ayer, que fue de alta intensidad, lo pudimos ver, tuvimos la suerte de estar ahí y se notó. Me gustaría hacer hincapié en el pack de forwards, que claramente lo trabajó. ¿Qué cosas te gustaron? ¿Qué cosas querés corregir para este sábado?
Creo que, bueno, ustedes lo vieron, fue un muy buen entrenamiento, con mucha intensidad, mucha competitividad entre los 30 que estaban en la cancha. Así que me parece que es muy importante. Estuvimos hablando bastante de seguir en nuestro proceso, de seguir mejorando, seguir siendo eficientes en el proceso del line-out, del scrum, del rack. Parece que es ahí en el rack donde está el punto para, sobre todo, lo que se vio del primer partido. Cuando tuvimos esa pelota rápida, la verdad que fuimos muy peligrosos con pelota en mano. Entonces, se tuvieron rack rápidos, pero el punto negativo, por decirlo de alguna manera, fue la cantidad de pérdida de pelota. Entonces, me parece que es el punto para prolijar, y en eso se trabajó mucho ayer. Se trabajó mucho en la precisión del line y del scrum.
Michael, you probably again told me that you are solely focused on your team and the task that lies ahead this coming Saturday. Can I ask you, this competition is played in the bigger picture? There's 4 teams in this competition at the moment. Based on Australia's performance last week against the All Blacks, do you think that they could possibly cause an upset in Auckland this weekend?
Sorry, what were you asking about?
Do you think Australia can possibly cause an upset this coming weekend?
I've been doing a bit of commentary with the stand in Australia. I don't know if you guys have seen it. And one of my things that I said I never do is tip, right? Because in a game of rugby, the only thing, anything can happen, right? So tipping is, for me, it's for mugs, you know what I mean? Like, everyone wants to know what's going to happen, and you're better off just watch the game and enjoy it for what it is. Obviously, as an Australian, I hope Australia win. That goes without saying. But and I think they got a good chance. But good thing about those games is you never know what's going to happen beforehand. So tipping is really futile. It's what you hope happens or what might happen, and And to be honest, like you said, you answered for me beforehand. I don't really have many thoughts about it. I've been focusing pretty much on what's happening here.
Michael.
Yeah.
Regardless of where the rugby championship is, what would it mean for you guys to beat South Africa here in Durban? That would mean that you'd beat Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa in the space of one tournament. And I suspect that's something that Argentina's never done in their history.
Yeah, well, we can talk about that if it happens. Yeah. Well, there's no point in talking about it beforehand, is there? Mate, the dreams and carry on, all that's, it's about what you do, you know what I mean? And owning what you do. And yeah, we've got objectives and goals and all that stuff, but that's a good discussion for us to have once it's done. But we've got a lot of work to do. We've got a huge challenge in front of us for it to happen, South Africa at home with a full house, and we just got to get in there and get dirty and do our bit and see where we end up. Then we can talk about that stuff after.
Michael, you had a splendid second half last week. And, there were a couple of times where I thought you were through and there was that guy that popped up to spoil. What do you think you have to do to basically make sure that because you really had your foot on your throats and then it seemed to get away from you. So what do you think you need to do to make sure that you drive it home?
Well, the first thing I do is have the first half like the second half. Yeah, you're not going to do that the whole time, but for periods. But we had a good start to the game. Then it sort of turned against us. Then we had a bad, and we recovered, and then we had a bad finish to the game. Lots of penalties, lots of errors, which happened to us against Australia as well in this first game, where we were in control of that game. I think we gave away 6 penalties in 6 minutes, and everything changed, field position a lot. So It's a new sort of place where we're going as far as that's concerned, and now, about being considered real competitors with these guys. And it's not easy. They play good footy. They're all highly ranked in the World Rugby rankings, and they've got, star players everywhere. So it's about never playing the scoreboard, never playing just playing, doing your best to win the next action and then see where it lands from there, and not focusing on the end part. That happens all that stuff's about your preparation, all those motivationals and objectives. It's all about your training and working hard and getting it right. And then when game time comes, you don't think, you just act, right? So more good actions will help us keep the foot on the throat in a situation like that.
Can I assume from what you said earlier that there will be absolutely no deflation if come kickoff you're not in with the shark of the tournament anymore?
That's got nothing to do with it. It's on. But we're here to obviously, number one, represent the country, with pride. That's really important. And two, to back each other up. We're away from home, where we've got to support each other out there on in what's going to be a difficult environment, and then thrive, enjoy the difficult environment. When it's tough, enjoy it. It's difficult. Enjoy that, because that's really what you've got to do, playing away from home against people like this, against a team like that. So just got to get in there, and then when the good moments come, ride them, and go from there.
Michael, do you think it's a broader sort of a bit of a broader question, but just you're in the Springboks are in a similar situation in the sense that because of your players play in the north in the club rugby, and the Springboks now also playing in the Northern Hemisphere, you don't actually have a break anymore. And I don't know how many games you've got until the World Cup, and whether you're going to have a break before the World Cup. But is that not a sort of concern that you guys are sort of playing almost like 12 months a year? Or it appears like that to me. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, first of all, we're not really in the same situation as the Springboks anymore, right? They have got control over their players that are playing in the URC, so they can rest them at the start of the year, like Ireland would do at those countries. They weren't before, when a lot of their players are playing in the UK. Yes, different scenario, but that's changed now. Many, I know because of my connections with NEC, many of those players are playing in Japan as well now. So they've got to, I think they've realised, those guys, that it's not easy to keep playing 12 months of the year, but that's our reality. Not going to be no complaining about it. We've got to manage the best we can. We know what we've got. It's not a concern. We've got to use it and turn it into an advantage somehow. And because it's not going to change. So let's use it as a weapon, somehow, or let's use it not as a weapon, as more as an advantage. Okay, what can we get from playing all this time? How can we get the breaks into the guys we've been working on? You've seen we've rotated a few guys around. Where do we take those opportunities to give them not necessarily a break physically? Yeah, they'll come and they'll have more a break mentally. Go to the beach, go enjoy some time with your family. Don't think about footy for a while. It's really important, to get the best out of players when they do play. That they get that opportunity to have some time where I'm just not thinking about it. You live it, a game. It's hard not to live. You're thinking about when the next opportunity is, and I think they need to take that break where in their environment they're away from it all completely. So that'll be the things that we're already planning. As the year goes on. So, and also the distance between games. I think it's a good. Between the November and the next rugby championship, I think it's over 30 weeks that we won't, see each other for a game of footy. So, but we'll use the best of what we can out of that, turn it into a positive.
Michael, ¿cómo viste la evolución y el trabajo de Pedro Cubiola estas semanas?
Yeah, so está me gusta mucho su entrada en el equipo la semana pasada como development, podemos ir, pero esta semana como en la parte del grupo propio, después la oportunidad a jugar. Pienso que estoy muy tranquilo con la selección porque en esta semana, 10 días, no hay que sembrar que nuevo en el equipo. Toda la line, tienes la información, conoce el esquema o el lanzamiento, en la parte físico, muy bueno. Entonces, entrada, no hay que sembrar para esto. Does that make any sense? Okay. And esto he ido para mí a ver, pero él, pienso que sin pensar que está jugando cuando viene en Sudáfrica, en gran sorpresa por él, pienso que está muy bueno. Estoy muy tranquilo con esta selección.
Corcho, vos como lo dices, a ver.
Comparto 100% lo que acaba de decir Michael. Se adaptó, se integró perfectamente. Nunca se notó una diferencia. Creo que también eso es un muy lindo mensaje para todo el trabajo que se viene haciendo de abajo. Por cómo se introdujo Pedro al grupo, cómo trabajó, y muestra también las ganas que tienen. Entonces me parece que todo eso está buenísimo. Así que ahora que lo disfrute y que siga en este proceso. Pero es un muy lindo mensaje, me parece, que se construye de los dos lados.
Sorry, last question here, and then we continue with the Zoom.
So Michael, that was a very short turnaround. Did you guys manage to, did your players perhaps have managed to do anything, especially in Durban? I know they've got a book together, besides Brian, or
Besides what,
having
sorry?
a barbecue here.
We had one last night. Yeah, it was a good one. Well, we tried to sleep. That's usually handy. Once you've come from Argentina over here, we've tried to fit some sleep in somewhere. I'm not sure what the boys are doing today. It's called a free day for that reason. It's a free day, so they could be off doing anything. I wouldn't really know. But our lads, they're really tight together. They're always sharing good time together away from the field because, you know, they split after this, you know, when they're not in together, and they really have a good affinity for each other. So I think when they get the chance in camp together, they try to spend as much time together as possible doing stuff, either for rugby or away from rugby.
Perfecto. Alejo, puedes comenzar con las preguntas.
¿Qué tal? Buenas tardes, Michael. Quería consultarte si a partir de lo que hicieron los Pumas en el segundo tiempo el otro día y también en función de los cambios que hay para este partido, van a intentar justamente un poco repetir esa primera media hora del segundo tiempo, si es un poco el objetivo, y también si a ustedes le piensan que Sudáfrica puede llegar a cambiar en función del resultado del partido de Nueva Zelanda y Australia, o sea, si necesiten punto bonus o necesiten determinada diferencia de puntos, si eso puede cambiar el funcionamiento de Sudáfrica y si eso también afecta cómo van a jugar los Pumas.
No hay cambiamiento que hacemos esta semana. Es solo más un poquito de estrategia que pensemos antes para estos dos partidos. No es que pensemos que con Matías y Juan juguemos más con este segundo tiempo. Pero ellos, los dos, son jugadores que gusta jugar con este tipo de ritmo, okay, estoy seguro. Pero Sudáfrica, no sé si entienda a todos acá en esta press conference, pero me sembra de cosa dice uno de periodista sudafricano que ellos piensan que han 5 puntos ya. 5 puntos ya, that they've already got the fight. So, veremos. No pienso que cambie nada de su juego.
Perfecto. Martín Carrasco, adelante.
Corcho, Michael, buenas tardes. Corcho, para vos, en el trabajo de la semana, bueno, ¿prepararon más o trabajaron más en realidad y van a tratar de que se cumpla dentro de la cancha el próximo partido un poco la indisciplina que hubo en el partido anterior, ¿O les preocupa más el tema del punto del contacto, que también fue algo que en el Rugby Championship se vio que en algunos momentos fueron superados?
Te respondo la primera, o la pregunta
Dale.
es, la verdad que estamos y hablamos mucho y nos han escuchado a todos los integrantes del grupo hablar de un proceso, y la palabra disciplina tanto no se menciona, sino más tomar buenas decisiones, continuamente tomar buenas decisiones, que eso en que se basa en que cada uno se tiene que hacer responsable de lo que hace. Todos sabemos lo que es el rugby, todos sabemos el reglamento, todos hemos tenido la suerte de jugar en diferentes niveles de rugby. Entonces lo importante es poder tomar buenas decisiones bajo presión, en momentos difíciles, y poder convivir con esos momentos difíciles. Entonces me parece que el mensaje sigue siendo lo mismo, el proceso sigue siendo el mismo, la forma de entrenar sigue siendo la misma, y la intensidad viene en cómo cada uno responde a cada uno de esos momentos. Entonces me parece que el foco estuvo en todo lo que venís diciendo, es el foco que venimos aplicando desde el día 1 en Escocia.
Michael, ¿qué tal? Buenas tardes para ustedes. Quería consultarte porque siempre hablan de procesos, recién lo nombraba Juan en su respuesta, y ya estamos al final del Rugby Championship, un poco para hacer un repaso de lo que es el camino que realizan. ¿Dónde crees que están parados en base al proceso que comenzaron en junio con Escocia, después de este desafío tan importante que es el Rugby Championship?
Penso que está seguramente en mejoramiento en diversos sectores de juego. Penso que la organización defensiva la cambia en ataque. Necesitamos tiempo para juntos. Este es seguramente un desafío, porque no es que pienso que el mejoramiento en estos 2 meses está bueno en esos sectores. Un poquito mal que no podemos estar más juntos ahora para continuar, pero tenemos noviembre para continuar juntos sobre esto. En el objetivo de Scrum Line, pienso que el mejoramiento está bueno. Está ancora de cosas, entonces necesitamos mejorar a velocidad más rápida, ¿okay? Para competir siempre cada semana con el adversario de este nivel. Sobre esta cosa tenemos seguramente en el planning por mejorar esta semana y después a noviembre.
Norman, adelante.
¿Qué tal? Buenas tardes, Michael, Corcho. Quería saber en lo que habían trabajado durante la semana con respecto al partido anterior, ¿cuál va a ser el fuerte de los Pumas esta semana? Este fin de semana, perdón, el sábado.
Pienso que necesitamos absolutamente mejorar el primer tiempo, el punto de contacto. Esto, entonces, es el punto de contacto. Cuando digo esto, es sobre todo en defensa o en ataque, que la línea de ventaja es muy importante para ellos, también por nosotros. Esto necesitamos ganar más de punto de contacto, no solo para la fuerza, solo algo método, fuerza es importante, pero está el otro método para ganar punto de contacto en la línea de ventaja. De una semana a la otra, si digo que está una cosa, es esto.
Perdón, Brian, adelante, cerramos la conferencia con vos.
Buenos días, buenas tardes para todos. Para Michael la pregunta es, ¿se imagina un partido parecido al que jugaron los Pumas en Christchurch, ahí con la disciplina casi perfecta que tuvo el equipo en ese partido para llevarse la victoria? Y para Corcho, preguntarle por los conductores del equipo, en este caso Gonzalo Bertranú y Santiago Carreras, si cree que ya van adquiriendo la experiencia necesaria como para poder encaminarse para ser la pareja de medios de cara al Mundial Francia 2023. Ya obviamente falta mucho, pero obviamente todo este proceso los está ayudando para ganar esa experiencia necesaria. Gracias.
Porque se un poquito para mí, no extraño, pero difícil entender un poquito porque en el primo 3 partidos de Rugby Championship estamos menos penalizados. Okay? Pues en el partido contra Nueva Zelanda el segundo y pues la semana pasada mucho. Entonces no es un trend que es siempre de una semana a la otra, un patrón, un patrón no es un patrón que va en una curva, claro, hay una semana, 2 semanas bien o 3 semanas bueno, una semana y 2 semanas que no, donde está no bueno, donde para nosotros es como Juan decía antes, que tomar de buena decisión al momento importante. Tiene una cosa muy fácil, estamos un metro atrás en defensa, right? Porque no da ninguna posibilidad para el 50-50. Decisiones que no está claro per dar la posibilidad de entrar l'arbitro del line. So, está 2 o 3 cosas en particular en donde per esta situación de penalidad podemos mejorar en nuestro control. El resto es un poquito del partido como se va.
Y respecto a lo que me preguntabas, y parece repetitivo, pero vamos a volver a la pregunta o a las respuestas anteriores. Digo, claramente en lo que va del torneo son el 9 y el 10 que más han jugado. Futurología no te puedo hacer de qué es lo que va a pasar de acá hasta septiembre del 2023, pero hoy en día son los jugadores que sentimos que se acomodan más a cómo el equipo quiere jugar, tanto en ataque como en defensa, como en la gestión del partido. Así que me parece que es una cuestión de aprovechar y concentrarse en cada día. Y hoy les toca a Gonza y a Santos.
Me pienso que en este caso que estamos muy contentos con todo el partido del 9 al 10 que estamos. Pienso que Carreras está haciendo muy buena prestación para un jugador que no juega 10 en su club. Okay? Después Bertranu no está seleccionado en la primera selección del año. Arrivato, tomar su oportunidad, pienso que está muy constante en su performance.
Perfecto. Muchas gracias a todos los periodistas que se sumaron al Zoom. Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks, folks.
Gracias.
Thank you.